Crispy coconut cookies. I will need 2 cups of all-purpose flour, cup and 1/4 of shredded coconut, and you can see how shredded those are. 1 packet of Philadelphia cream cheese, 1/4 of a container of mascarpone cheese, 2 sticks of butter, 2 tablespoons of sugar, and the sugar you choose is up to you. Regular sugar, brown sugar, coconut sugar. I actually found coconut sugar and it's organic, 1 whole pound for $4 at Ross Dress for Less. So sometimes it's a surprise what you can buy in a store that's not really a grocery store. And either a couple drops of vanilla extract, or if you wanted more coconut flavor, then coconut extract. And that is pretty much all I need for my delicious crispy cookies. So my butter, cream cheese and sugar will go in, and I will have to beat it for a while until nice and creamy. And cream cheese and mascarpone cheese will go in. Sugar. And what I would like to add here, if you like your cookies to be really sweet, you can of course put more sugar in. I don't put too much sugar because I will have my coconut flakes on top of those cookies, and those flakes that I'm using are already sweetened. Plus, on the end, I will put powdered sugar on those cookies. The sweetness level is up to every individual. For me, 2 tablespoons enough for this recipe, but if you really like sweet cookies, then, double the size. I'm done with the mixing here, so I just need to clean it. And I won't be using this mixer anymore. The flour and the coconut flakes need to go in using just the spalta, not the mixer anymore, because I want my cookies delicate and soft. And the secret here is to mix in the flour and the coconut flakes gently. I do like those cookies. Those cookies are one of my favorites. And I know I don't look like I eat a lot, but everything I make in my home I do eat, even the cookies, sweets. My husband is taller, much taller than me. He weighs a little over 200 pounds, and he can tell you himself, I eat as much as he does, but I walk a lot. I have 2 dogs that I have to walk every day. I have 2 small kids, I have to play with them every day. And because I move so much, I can actually enjoy the food I make. Now, I will put half of the flour, mix gently, and then the other half in a little bit. And then the coconut flakes with it. What is great about this kind of dough is if you don't have time to do everything today, you can actually put it in the fridge and do it in a couple hours. Or you can do it tomorrow. This dough can be in your fridge for 3 days and you don't have to worry about it. Or you can actually freeze it and make the cookies whenever you feel like it. And my coconut flakes. Once I have everything pretty much incorporated, I will put it on the board and finish with my hands. So this dough is very soft and it is sticky, so you will need to work with it for a couple more minutes, adding some flour to the board. And before you can start cutting out the cookies, making any shapes, this dough will need to be in the fridge for at least an hour. When it's cold, it will be much easier to cut your cookies out and make any shape that you want. but those cookies are crispy. So now last time, roll in some flour before we can put it in a foil and in the fridge. Hi again. So I decided to wait until the next day to make my coconut cookies, and my dough was in the fridge overnight. Now it's hard as a rock, but it's okay. I can cut it into smaller pieces, and it's not gonna take that much time for me to be able to make shapes, any shapes I want. Talking about the shapes, I usually use a circle shape with like a hole inside, and this one is pretty small. This one is about, I think, 2.5 inches in diameter, but you can use a bigger one. And if it doesn't have a hole, you can find a shot glass and just create one. Or you can have a heart shape, or you can have a square shape. So the shape is really your preference. You know, it doesn't matter, the cookie is not gonna change the flavor, it's still going to be the same, and the amount for cooking is going to be the same, because it's the thickness that counts, how thick you wanna cut it. And I would say about 1/2 inch for each cookie. So what I usually do is spread some flour and some powdered sugar here. Mix it up so it's easier to roll and it doesn't stick to my board. And now I can cut some and I will be putting each one, of course, on a cookie sheet that I have nearby. The reason I do not want to put too much sugar in my dough is because I'm gonna have powdered sugar on top, but also I don't want to be using too much flour so my dough is not gonna become dense. That's why I mix the flour with the powdered sugar, so it's easier to roll it out and it doesn't stick. At the same time, add a little bit of sugar to it, which I didn't have that much before. So it all works out great. And here I want to come closer with the camera to just show you how thick it is. So whatever is left over, I will roll again in a little bit and then do the same thing. And here I have some leftover dough that is already warm and sticky again, so you can see the difference. You will need more flour now if you don't want it to stick to the board, and it's a little bit harder to roll it. It's like sticks to everything. That's why colder is so much easier to maneuver and cut your shapes out. Like this is so soft now. Okay, and that will be the last one. I will try to shape a circle. It's not going to be that pretty, but I'll try my best here. Okay, I think this will do. Not perfect, but good enough. And from that recipe, I have, I think, 28 cookies here, and this is half of the dough that I used. Again, it depends of the size you choose. So I have about 28 cookies cut out, right? And half of the dough is still here. My cutter, again, is pretty small. 2.5 inches is not big at all. I like my cookies smaller because I'm small and it just fits in my mouth better. I can eat it in 2 bites. The standard size would be 3 inches in diameter. So a little bit bigger than what I have. So if you want a little bit bigger cookies than mine, please use 3 inches. It's just me, my preference. I like smaller ones, just like the Kawachki cookies. Kawachkis are perfect for, snacking on. One bite fits great in your mouth, and then you worry that you ate too many. Very sneaky on you. I just want you to be aware of it, because when you use the bigger one, you will have less cookies, but the cookies will be bigger, of course. And I have decided to make few of the bigger ones, just so you can compare the small ones to the bigger size, 3 inch. On the end, I like to have chocolate drizzle on top of it. You can also sprinkle it with some of the coconut flakes on top if you want. So different options, for those cookies. And here, to see the difference in size, I have put those trays together so you can see. And once they baked, I will show you, of course, again. And now it's time to bake them, 350 for about 15 minutes. And that 15 minutes is a general time. It all depends on your oven. I recently replaced my oven twice. So that means I had my old one, the first new one I got, and it wasn't working great. And then this is a second new one. Every single oven, there is a slight difference. The temperature, the power of the oven. I actually have like oven thermometers in to make sure the temperature exactly as I said here, because with the previous one it was about 20 degrees higher and it had burned my breads. So it has been 15 minutes and I checked, and see how I have those cookies in 2 different shelves. The heat stays more on the bottom, so I had to switch the shelves around for a couple minutes. So 15 minutes and now a couple more minutes. So I will put some of the cookies on a plate and show you up close. And it's actually perfect timing for the cookies because it's time for my second coffee. And I want to show you how the color should be when they are baked. I have put it on a white plate and you can see they brownish on the bottom, more brownish on the bottom than top, just like this. And it took me exactly 17 minutes. So set a timer for 15 minutes, check on them and see how your oven bakes those cookies. But 15 minutes, it's a general timer. Check on them if they need a couple more minutes or not. But this is how they should look like when they're done. Light brown. And for melting chocolate drizzle, there are 2 ways to do it. The easy way is buying chocolate almond bark in microwave. You melt it, the instructions are right on it, and then you just sprinkle. So this is the easy way. It's already prepared, made for you. If you want to make your own, what I do is put 1 spoon of half teaspoon of butter, and the rest is dark chocolate with some sweet milk chocolate. Melt it. You gotta stir it constantly so it is smooth, because if you don't, you can have some pieces there that won't dissolve. So if you really want a smooth chocolate drizzle, keep stirring it on slow, and when your chocolate melts, you're ready. I actually have some coconut flavored chocolate, so that will work really well too. On a pot, again on low, you just keep stirring it, slowly melting, and that's all it takes. And you can see how the texture is changing. My chocolate is ready, so now it's time to get the sleeve and put some of it on my cookies. And here is my chocolate. Another way you can do the chocolate, put chocolate on, is just dip it in chocolate and then sprinkle some coconut flakes on top. Okay, I have some coconut flakes here, and I would put some on top of my chocolate, but I want to make sure my chocolate is not cold, because once it is cold, those flakes are not going to stick. So I gotta do it while my chocolate is melted and still warm, so my coconut flakes stay on. Okay. Yeah, for some of you it would be easier to have a dish, have all that melted chocolate in a dish, dip the cookie in chocolate, and then dip the cookie in coconut flakes. But if you are like me, who likes to play around, then you can do it this way. Doesn't it look pretty? I think it looks very pretty. And I'm using a cookie sheet because whatever is left over, the coconut flakes, I can reuse them for the next cookies. I hope you enjoy making them and enjoy eating them even more. Smacznego! What did I tell you? Coffee and a cookie. They match. So I have my cookies ready, smaller and bigger, and now on the end, when you try it and feel like you need more sweetness, you can put some powdered sugar on top of them. Thank you for watching. Smacznego, bon appetit! I guess I need to eat more sausage to be stronger. And not just any sausage. Oh, Polish sausage. Need bigger muscles for that. Into those, like I mentioned before, the dough is very, what's the word? Not mushy, clingy. Gosh, what is that word? English, English, English. Sometimes it takes a little bit to switch the languages. Oh. Sticky. So the dough is very sticky if it's warm. That's why it needs to be cold, so it's easier to cut the shapes out.